Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Yesterday I had the pleasure of attending a demonstrator event in Scotland. This was led by our demonstrator development manager for the UK. So there was a lovely collection of wonderful demonstrators, some that I hadn't met before and some that are dearest friends. So it was such a lovely experience, and I was actually asked to do a demonstration and create a project for everyone to recreate at the event. The stamp set I was asked to use was Textured Notes and the Modern Oval Punch, and this was the colour scheme that I was given to work with. So we have Pecan Pie, Lemon Lolly, Highland Heather, Mossy Meadow and Smoky Slate. I was also asked to use some of our two-tone cardstock. This cardstock has a white core, and as you can see, one side is lighter than the other. And this is the card that I designed, and some people used the same colours, same layout. Other people didn't do the ripping of the two-tone, didn't, maybe only used one colour with white. There was so many different variations. It was so lovely to see so much creativity sparked by my design. So I've used the oval punch not just for my sentiment, but actually to add a little bit of faux embossing detail on that card layer. And so I'm going to make another one and show you exactly what I did. So these are the pieces that I used for my card. I have 4 pieces of basic white cut with the Modern Oval Punch. I have a piece of basic white that measures 4 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and a piece of two-tone cardstock that is 4 centimetres and needs to be 14, but I've just left it. The piece I had was 6 inches, so I've just left that for now, but you could trim that down to be the same. My card base is thick basic white and measures 21 centimetres by 14.5, and I have scored that along the long side at 10.5. So my card layer is 10 by 14 centimetres, just to give that small border around there. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 3 of these pieces onto this card layer, and this just gives me that faux embossing effect. So I'll need my glue and I'll need my snips. I started off with the one in the middle and just lined that up close to that edge, roughly in the centre, and hopefully straight-ish. Then I've got a piece to put at the bottom and one to go at the top, and my favourite thing for this is to use a silicone mat. That way I can add glue all over that piece and line that up, same distance from the side, little gap in between, and I know that I've got glue all the way to the end, and then I can just trim that off. Okay, and so I don't transfer that glue any further, I'm just going to stick that bit right over there just now. And then I need to put this other one on there, so again, glue on the back, line that up, similar gap to the side, stick that down, and then trim off that excess. put that out of my way. Okay, so the next stage is to do some stamping. And again, these are all from Textured Notes. And just do whatever you like with them. So I've got Mossy Meadow. I'm going to swap out the Highland Heather for Lemon Lolly on this one. That was Smoky Slate and Pecan Pie. Okay, so I'm going to start off actually with the little baskety weave one and give that some ink and pop that on. Like so. And then I can do second generation. Not very good, was it? Let's just do a full generation on top then. There we go. And I'll do another bit up here. And then I'm just going to fill the rest of the space with some leaves. I'll do some with Pecan Pie, overlapping. And then I'll do some with Mossy Meadow. And that little sort of baskety weave bit strip, I'll just add in some extra colour. There we go, so I have that piece done. Also want to stamp my sentiment, which is a thank you, and I'm going to do that in Mossy Meadow on here. And then do a little bit more stamping around about the edges of this. A little bit on there. Let's go a little bit Mossy Meadow on here. A little bit of that yellow along there. What have I not done? Pecan Pie. Let's do a little bit of that there. And again, around here. And I'll maybe just put a little bit extra Mossy Meadow on there. Okay, so that's my stamping done. Let me clean this up. So I've got my elements of my card ready here. I need to rip this piece here so that I get that nice white edge there. So just ripping down that middle, like so. And if you find that difficult to do, you can use a wet paintbrush just to draw a line down, and that softens the fibres a little and helps you actually rip that a little bit easier. So now to decide which sides I want. So I could have both light and dark, but then I wouldn't get much white edge on that one. Sorry, just both light and I wouldn't get much white edge. So I'm going to go dark and light, just as I did with my first one. So I'm going to pop this one on this piece first. Got green ink on me. And I don't need to go right down to the bottom. I can bring that silicone mat back in. Okay, so I want to line this up along the top. It's going to overlap a little bit at the bottom, like that, and then trim that off. As I say, you could trim that first of all down to 14 centimetres then I'm actually going to add that bit onto here. So I'm just going to add the glue down there, and I don't get myself in a mess. And I can pop that on. Like so. And trim that. I'll trim that at the end. And then I can put that on there. So glue on all of this. And just pop that down there. That way I'm making sure I've not got a gap before my faux embossing. It all looks all like one complete piece. And then just trim that down the bottom there, and I'll trim that better along here. That's better. Okay, we'll need to clean those scissors. That layer is just going to go straight on top. And if you wish, you can add a little bit more dimension to it by just fluffing up those edges. And I did use the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my sentiment piece. Take the backs off of those and decide where you want to put this. I'm just going to go there. And my final touch was to add some rhinestones. And I did actually add some stamping to the inside and onto my envelope as well, just to finish that all off. So those are my two versions. We did also make another card designed by another demonstrator, and that was the one there. Lots of ripping. Hers had much more detail on it than mine, but I was too busy chatting. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you've liked seeing this kind of stamping your own designer series paper. All I've used is one punch, one stamp set, and little bit of two-tone card and lots of inks. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you have time. I love to read them. If you're new to my channel, please do click on that subscribe button, click the bell and get notification the next time I upload a tutorial. Until then, please do take care. Bye bye.